The most notorious of Jordan's prisons is the old fortress of Al Jafr, known for decades as the place where troublesome men went to be forgotten. It lies outside the Bedouin village of the same name, on a road that marks the outer boundary of human habitation in the country's fierce southeastern desert. Beyond the prison, the terrain flattens into a basin of baked mud that stretches to the horizon without a hill or rock or stubble of grass. The ancient sea that once stood here evaporated eons ago, leaving an emptiness like a missing limb, a void so unnatural that it stirs feelings of dread among the few travelers who pause for a look. There's a terrible loneliness, wrote filmmaker David Lean, who shot parts of Lawrence of Arabia on the same mudflats in 1962 and pronounced the place more deserted than any desert I've ever seen. His picture editor, Howard Kent, would describe Al Jafr as simply a warning of what hell is like. It was at this spot that British military overseers chose to build an imposing prison with limestone walls and high watchtowers for detainees regarded as too dangerous for ordinary jails. And it was here, years later, that the Jordanians began the practice of quarantining Palestinian militants and other radicals viewed as threats to the state. Hundreds of men, many of them held without formal charge, languished in stifling, vermin infested cells where they endured temperature extremes, rancid food, and a catalogue of abuses later documented by United Nations investigators. Newly arriving prisoners were routinely beaten until they lost consciousness. Others were flogged with electric cables, burned with lit cigarettes, or hung upside down by means of a stick placed under the knees, a position the guards gleefully called grilled chicken. Over time, the monarchy grew weary of the costs of running a prison so isolated from the country's population and so damaging to its reputation. In 1979, the last of its inmates were transferred to other jails, and Al Jafr was abandoned to the scorpions and its own ghosts.